Okay, it doesn't actually overwrite until you actually save the file. That's nice. Alright, final trial. So, this area is interesting because you could technically divide it into 2 days. I think the guidebook actually recommends doing that. I'm gonna try it in 1 day first, and if it doesn't go well, I'll save just to make my life easier. You get a bunch of candy pop buds in case you're short on Pikmin, which is very nice. I always go with 87 because we need 3 bomb rocks for a wall and we need 10 red Pikmin for a box. But the majority of the time spent on this stage is actually building bridges, so I typically divide about like this. Also, thank you for the hydration check, GB. I'll take care of that very shortly because we're almost at an ad break, so we'll handle that before too long. This bridge is longer, I think, so we'll toss generally more Pikmin onto this one. Like, not like this, I think it will be good. You also can't climb up to that ledge on your own. This one you can. You can just walk up this one, so that's nice. This one's kind of stuck, but it's fine. We just need to remember to get him on the way back. Meanwhile, we need to take our yellow Pikmin and go on a little adventure and toss him up here. And then up here, use the geyser to make it up to the sledge and get these bomb rocks. You know, if you want to be really extra, you could probably make that bomb throw from here, especially on Switch or Wii. The only problem is, I'm pretty sure they try to go back to Olimar, which means they'd go into the water and die. So that's the only reason I don't do that. Also, this version is nice because, again, in GameCube, if you whistle a Pikmin that you've thrown with a bomb rock, you have to like bump into them to like recollect them. In the Wii version, onwards, you can just whistle them, like, straight up. Which actually can be annoying, because getting them to manually drop bombs does have merit at times, especially with the fight coming up shortly. So yeah, there are actual reasons why you might not want to do it that way. Okay, that's the one under the bridge, so we're good to go there. I also want to get rid of all my blue Pikmin, because we really don't need them for anything at this point. Okay, I do not want that blue Pikmin tagging along. Alright, Alright, so there should be 10 red Pikmin over there, so I want to get rid of all my blue Pikmin here, and then I want to take out... let's go 17 more yellow Pikmin. We should have 20 total, and then we'll get all the rest filled out with red Pikmin, because we have a boss coming up, basically. Final boss time. Truth be told, I actually think it's easier than Smoky Prog on paper if you're not fighting it with bombs. Without, this is actually a worthy challenge. The ad break is just about to start anyway, so I actually might pause there, because I actually do need to step away really quickly for something. Also, this bridge stresses me out. I usually like swarm like this, just to keep them from going into the water. Like, I just kind of go back and forth, to kind of like make them go in a line, because otherwise they kind of swerve all over the place. There's plenty of bomb rocks around, actually. There's like grass up here too. You can actually go up around in order to get stuff over there. These walls are like the easiest walls to break in the entire game. You shred through them. I want to test something. Okay, so they're not designed to just crumble immediately, but if you have like a full squad, they come down very quickly. I want to say there are walls in 2 that also come down really fast with 100 Pikmin. Alright, so that means we've basically done everything we can in the final trial. We have a little bit more prep work we can do, which is just harvest bomb rocks from these little pipes over here. Again, there's more over there. We don't really need them, though. Again, yellow Pikmin lose the ability to carry bomb rocks in later games, which is kind of a shame, because it's kind of a neat attribute, but again, it doesn't really have much use in the later games, I feel, like, just based on the design. Like, I'm trying to think of... There are actually bomb rocks in some of them, now that I'm thinking about it. Alright, so all that's left is to fight the boss, but again, we do have ads starting very soon, so I'm gonna come over here, leave off with the fight for a little bit later. So yeah, I'm gonna take a short break, and then we will fight the final boss. Alrighty then, all that's left is the final boss. I'm mildly concerned because I'm not great at fighting this boss, like, straight up. And it's actually a little bit wonky in this version compared to GameCube, because again, you can't drop bombs directly, so you have to be a lot more like on the ball with things. There we go. Good start. Some of those Pikmin are absolutely gonna get crushed if I'm not careful. Case in point, that one just got crushed, so that's a reset. Basically what happened is, one, I missed a lot of throws at first, and two, I caught them back too soon, to the point where they kind of fall off the Emperor Bulbul Axe and then get crushed. But yeah, it's a little bit harder because in the GameCube version you can just basically call the Pikmin back, and they'll drop the bomb, and then you don't have to worry about the Pikmin accidentally being eaten in the process. But yeah, I want to make Thursday a regular streaming day, Monday, Thursday at least to start. I would also like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at some point, but I need to build up stamina first, to be totally honest. Cause yeah, my stamina for streaming is not the best, and I fully admit that's part of my issue right now. I say as I'm also like totally perishing from allergies, which are also not entirely helping here. But yeah, if we screw up this time, I'm gonna split up that setup part to get here with the actual boss. I'm just gonna make it a separate day just for the sake of getting through this a little bit faster. Again, such is the price you pay when you try a deathless run to Pikmin sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't entirely go as well as we would hope. There's actually some really good quality of life in this version specifically for the final boss. Some like mild changes that make this a little bit more accessible, which is nice. Again, you know, as much as the graphical overhaul is like non-existent in this version, like it's a little bit higher res, like certain UI elements are higher res, but like the game is still pretty crusty. It's like definitely still like a launch window GameCube game. This was like December 2001, by the way. There are some nice quality of life improvements, like namely the Bulbul Axe actually has a shadow now, which is nice. Because again, he did not have a drop shadow on GameCube, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. Okay, backing up. Okay. So eventually he'll also start jumping, so the addition of a drop shadow is especially helpful in that case. Oh, well, that kinda sucked. Sometimes the Pikmin will do that if you throw them too early. There's like only 40 bomb rocks around the arena, there's no shortage. So we're fine, it's just... It'll take a little bit longer. Hey, you! Look my way. I think I started throwing too early, they might have landed under him. This might be a problem in a moment. Okay, we're good. Shit, we're not good. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take this slow, just for the sake of, like, not being here for 5 million years. Being able to get back into the fight a little bit faster, I think is gonna help. Because this might take a few resets. Again, I actually might turn off the motion controls for this fight. I think the motion controls are actually screwing me up here. Like, I really want to do this in one day, because I know I can do it in one day. We got really close that time, we only needed one more cycle, and we would have done it. So that's why I'm kind of like... maybe one more try with my preferred method of doing it all in one day. I love Pikmin 3 though, I think it's my favorite overall. I love 4 too, but I don't think it quite hit right for me. And again, that largely comes down to a vibe check, where it's like the vibes of Pikmin 4 felt slightly off to me, compared to 1 through 3. Like a little, like, je ne sais quoi was missing, and I don't know how to explain it better. Like, I think the change in logo says a lot, where it's like the old Pikmin games have like logos made out of the Pikmin flowers, while Pikmin 4's logo and also the rebranded Pikmin 1 through 3 logos are just kind of like, you know, bold text in green, and it's just kind of like, that's not nearly as interesting. Like, so from a UI design standpoint, I almost feel like Pikmin 4 is that kind of like, the recurring trend of Nintendo games of making readability better at the sake of style, essentially. So it's like the UI makes more sense to be very static, but it also is just boring. So yeah, kind of the mixed feeling on that, because I can see why they make the UI so, like, plain now, but it doesn't make me have to like that the UI is super plain now, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my take on Nintendo UI design. Almost got a half cycle on that. Well, damn. Readable with style is surprisingly hard to find, I feel. It's like, I almost feel like a lot of games struggle with readability, like, you know, Fire Emblem Three Houses, the big ones that played X before the remaster was a big one. It's just like menu management's been a problem in recent Nintendo games. Like, they're trying to make things more readable, but end up actually making it less readable. Okay. We can two-cycle this, potentially. But there are two variables. One, is he gonna do the jump attack? And two, am I gonna F up throws? So yeah, he'll start doing a jump attack at some point. Oh, he'll just ignore us. That works too. I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but... yeah, eventually he'll start doing a jump attack. His AI behavior is kind of stressing me out, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's just not entirely doing what I'm expecting him to. Also, the Pikmin are not cooperating entirely. Shit. God damn it. That was going really good, too. I'm mad about that. That was such a good run. Again, he wasn't jumping. I was trying to bait a jump, and he just wasn't. We can do this, though. This isn't difficult. That's... again, we've discovered this is more bombs than we need by a landslide. Like, by a large-ass margin. Alright. Try this again. Jesus, Pikmin continue to stress me out. Again, it's mostly just getting the AI to cooperate at this point. Both for the Bulborb and the Pikmin. Again, he won't jump until after the halfway point of the fight, so we have a little bit of a buffer where we don't have to worry about that too much. I think I was standing too far away. I think that actually legit might be my problem. Alright, good cycle. I'm gonna get them to back off a little bit. I will say the more formal UI of 4 does make sense from a lore standpoint. Because it's like, you know, you're not playing as the same characters from 1 and 2. It's like 1 and 2 having like a unified style kind of makes sense. But also the gap in between games too. Hi Dewan Guy, welcome on in. You have arrived for us on our, what, 4th attempt of the final boss? This hasn't been going great, I'm not gonna lie. It's not been going horribly, I just keep making like little small screw-ups that are making me have to redo a bunch of shit. Every time. What the f was that Pikmin doing? Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm not concerned about best time at this point. I'm just gonna play it safe. So yeah, to save us time, because again, we will be here all day at this point if I don't do this. We're just gonna go to sunset immediately after doing all of the setup for this area, and then we'll just do the final boss as its own day. So I don't have to worry as much about like Pikmin management and everything and building everything. It will save us a lot of time, and I wish I had done it sooner if I had known the boss was gonna give me this much trouble. Again, this game is very fickle sometimes. Like, sometimes I have no problems with it, other times it's a headache, and it does create a very different dynamic if you're actually streaming the game than if you're just playing it, like, casually. Like, if I'm playing this by myself, I have no objection just, you know, bashing my head against the wall on a challenge for a little bit. But, you know, on a stream, when I'm actually on, like, a time limit, essentially, we need to pick up the pace, basically. I almost feel like Pikmin 2 is actually in some ways easier for resets because, for like Underground at least, you just restart that floor. So you really don't have to worry as much compared to other games. The one problem with Pikmin 2 is there are actually some glitches that I don't know if they've been fixed or not in the Switch version. So like I've run into a glitch where Pikmin like died essentially in a cutscene, like as treasure being carried back. They basically clip like a hazard and die. But because it's in the cutscene, the number doesn't go down, so it doesn't count as a death effectively. So it's like really weird. So yeah, these games do have some very bizarre glitches, especially on GameCube. Like on the original hardware, like these games have some weird quirks. You know, the frustrating part, I'm so like torn, because it's just, like the thing is, I know as soon as I do this, like go to the effort of making it so I have an easy save point, I'm gonna get a first try. I know I am, because I know my luck. And also, my problem right now is I'm getting like slightly annoyed at the game itself, which I think is also not helping, because I'm rushing it too much. I need to like take my time, take it slow, you know. Don't sweat the details, just kinda take a deep breath and be patient with this fight. I think that's ultimately it. And again, a lot of it comes down to the feeling like I know I can do it. I've done this 20 times, at least throughout my life, probably more. I don't have my original files because my GameCube memory card fried itself. Fun story. The biggest memory card size, which is about like 1,000 blocks. It's like a specific like white colored memory card instead of like the gray or black ones. Those are notorious for failures, apparently. So I had all my stuff on that one like 1,000 block memory card, and it corrupted, because apparently those corrupt very easily. So I lost a lot of my childhood saves, like SA2, Sunshine, I think I lost, like original Animal Crossing Town, like I lost a lot of saves with that memory card. So yeah, I actually don't know how many times I played this game, plus also it doesn't track past a certain point. Like it only tracks the first like top 5 basically, it doesn't track beyond that, and it doesn't track like total runs either. So yeah, I have no clue how many times in my life I've played this game, but it's a large number. This is easily my most played game, like, ever. If you discount, Resident Evil 2 because I technically don't do full runs of RE2 very often. I almost always just do a clear run. If you're not counting Resident Evil 2, Pikmin is probably like uncontested as one of my most played games of all time, like straight up. Like extraordinarily uncontested, basically. Okay. Once again, we're just kind of at the mercy of the Pikmin actually cooperating. That's not what I call cooperating. Oh my god. I think this is the most aggravated I've like ever gotten on the stream, to be honest. It's not even because it's like difficult, it's just because I know I can do this, and I'm now just getting frustrated because the game itself is not cooperating. Which is just kind of the problem with Pikmin in general, because Pikmin is like heavily based on the AI of the Pikmin cooperating with you. So it can just cause a lot of problems very quickly. Yeah, I wish I'd started half an hour sooner. Now, I didn't think this would be as much of a headache as it is, because normally I have no problems with this final boss. But that's just kind of the streamer curse kicking in, I think. This happens to a lot of people where it's like, yeah, streaming this game isn't, or like playing this game isn't bad, it's just streaming it, everything goes wrong. And yeah, that's the frustrating part. As soon as I do a day 13 save for this, I know I'll get it first try, like after. Because that's just how I go, how my luck goes. Like, if I heal in an RPG, the next hit will be the last hit I need. That's the law of how RPGs work. That's just how it goes. Alright, I've lost count of how many attempts this is, I'm gonna be real. It's like, okay, you can just stand there, that works too. It's like 5, I think, maybe 6. He hit the ball blacks directly, which caused the explosion to kill it. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I give up. Trying to be fancy. Again, 13 days is still pretty decent for me. Like, sometimes this happens organically. But again, the last run I did was 12 days, which was, like, really good. I was hoping for another 12-day run, but it's fine. But again, the best thing to focus on now is just getting through the stream, basically, is my current mentality. And yeah, I'm not even gonna put the Pikmin back at this point. I'm just gonna go over here and tear down the 2 walls up ahead, and then just go to sunset, basically. And I'll create a save, so that means we save like 3 minutes every time of having to do this, like, opening bit every time. How many minutes would that save, actually? Because, like... I'm trying to gauge, because each day is like 13 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Oh, each dot is a minute. Okay, so yeah, we would save about 3 minutes if we go to sunset here. So yeah, it's not a huge time save, but again, I should have done this sooner, just for my sanity, basically. So that's on me. I should have, you know, swallowed my pride sooner, to be honest. Alright, so again, I have this feeling that as soon as we end up doing all this effort to have a save and not have to do as much, like, stress out over doing the opening bit every time, I'm gonna get it first try or something. 12 days since impact, hope has begun to well up within me for the dolphin's repair and my own chances for a reunion with my dear family. Tomorrow I shall go forth with a new attitude and continue my exploration in a different region. Hope that fortune will smile upon me. Olimar, we're staying in the same place. What are you talking about? But yeah, that was about 3 minutes, or 2 minutes or so. So yeah, we'll save a little bit of time every time. Again, I was expecting the frustration to be with the beady long legs also is the other thing. I was expecting that to take forever. So it's like, this stream is gonna take the same amount of time as I thought the game would take all along. It's just, it's gonna take more time on this section rather than the section I was expecting it to take a lot of time on. Which is why, again, I think I'm getting more frustrated, because I got through the hard part really quickly, and now something that's comparatively easy, I'm like running into hurdles with. The other thing I'm debating is not using the hill gate and using like the one closer to the arena. Where'd a Pikmin go? Oh, we got stuck over there, that's fine. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes our decision for us. Yeah, once we're done with Pikmin, I'm not entirely sure what we'll do next. It's been a long time since I've done a game clearing stream, so I might do one of those instead of, like, another favorites. I have the next favorite picked out, by the way. It's just a matter of, do I want to have variety, basically? Alright. Just fun match like my life depends on it, basically. Alright. God damn it. See, that's the other problem. Tripping. Because that Pikmin just tripped, and there's nothing we could do to help it. Like, we literally can't do anything to save it. So even in childhood games, they can have these little annoyances, so it's one of those situations of I'm a strong advocate of, like, no game is perfect. I normally don't like saying it just because it feels like something that should be obvious. Yeah, that Pikmin was in Brawl, and that just happens. Like, a lot of times Pikmin will trip at the worst possible time, and you just literally can't save them because they just tripped. So, they don't trip as much in 2 onwards, which is nice at least. At least as far as I remember, and they might still trip in 2. It's so complicated though, because like 1 and 2 are the same engine, 3 is its own engine, and then 4 is its own engine. I think 4 uses Unreal, actually. Like Unreal Engine 4. Again, 3 Deluxe and 4 were also developed by Ating. Best known probably for their work on Marvel 3. Also, like, you know, a lot of fighting games. I think they might be helping with the Hunter x Hunter game coming out soon. Like Nen Impact, I think is the name of it. That game looks weird, because it looks very, like, low budget, if that makes sense. But it seems, like, decently fun, at least. But again, just very, like, low budget. Like, it's being published by ArcSys, but not developed by ArcSys, and it shows. It looks, like, very low budget compared to, like, you know, DNF Duel or anything like that. That was just me, not... So the problem with this version of the game is you have to hold down the swarm button instead of just using the right stick, so sometimes I forget about that because of muscle memory, and don't swarm the Pikmin out of the way fast enough. The other Pikmin also wasn't gonna throw the bomb, too, that was the other issue. Alright, again, I've lost count at this point. This has to be like attempt 8 or 9, I think. It's a large number, is all I know at this point. Yeah, sometimes this just happens with this game. 8 sounds right, yeah. You can also, like, whistle and throw while swarming, but it's just harder when you have to hold down L. Like, having macro buttons, like, on, like, an 8-bit controller would be really nice, because it would actually make, like, using all the inputs a little bit easier. Like, straight up, I think, like, an 8-bit controller would be really nice. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, he's just not gonna attack there, okay. I should not have my whole squad with me, this is a mistake. Okay, I'm being impatient. I threw so badly I had to call them back. I wasn't gonna chance that. Yeah, it happened again. It just tripped right in front of that. In general, I've actually been considering not doing automatic ads anymore, just because they keep happening at very inconvenient times. So I've legitimately considered not doing automatic ads and just running them manually and trying to remember to run them every hour, approximately. In streams like this, that definitely would help, because part of my issue right now is just like trying to beat the clock, essentially. I'm legitimately tempted to turn off motion controls, because I think that's actually part of my problem. I just know with automatic ads, it kind of helps me to remember how long I've been going, because a lot of times I just forget, to be honest. But like Mario, it's like, Mario levels are short. You can usually like power through a level and then just stop once you finish it. But like this is a little harder. A little more effort, I'd say. I think I need to fight it farther away from the wall. Like, I think that's throwing me off, because the Pikmin aren't launching as far, and they have less room to actually run away. Alright, okay. My number got thrown off, so I was like stressing for a moment, like, how many Pikmin should I have right now? Oh shoot, that's bad. I just need to be careful not to accidentally throw a bomb rock. I don't know if because I kind of got thrown off in my timing, I don't think I have enough time to actually do this. Okay. So, all we need is a tiny sliver of health. So, all we need to do is have him not jump. And that's it, that's GG. Hell yeah. Okay. Again, that took way longer than I was hoping it would. At long last, I found the final part of my secret safe, and as full as ever. How glad I am that I persisted in my search without losing hope. Now I can leave this planet without any regrets. Maybe I'll even stop and pick up some souvenirs for my wife and kids back on planet Hokotate. Yay. It also drops a ton of pellets too, so... So we'll also get some Pikmin to carry these back, just to, you know, have our numbers a little bit higher for our final tally. Shoot, do I have enough for this? I hope I do. Yeah, I do. Well, that was a hard-fought win, more than I was expecting it to be. Whew, okay. Again, that's just how this game goes sometimes, especially, again, with the change to how bomb rocks work. I find this fight harder on Wii and Switch, just because if you can get the Pikmin to manually drop the bomb, it can actually be easier than if they're just gonna drop them on their own judgment. Because sometimes the judgment of Pikmin is very terrible, as we've seen. Sometimes Pikmin make very poor life choices. So, yeah. Now, ultimately, what this came down to is just the Pikmin just did not make good calls a lot of times. And trying to swarm on a bridge is precarious, so we're gonna swarm a little bit closer. You can get like 90 Pikmin on this part. It's the most of like any ship part. And second most of treasures in the entire series. There's one thing that can handle 100 Pikmin, for obvious reasons. And that's it. I have finally recovered every ship part. Now I can return home to Hokotate. One detail I've always liked is how the bowsprit is always kind of like a little wonky looking until it's actually fully fixed, in which it actually is finally engaged, but it will kind of like snap into position if it needs to launch from its like semi-broken state. Again, I don't know why getting a safe would help with the integrity of the ship, but it does. Just the music is really nostalgic in this scene. Also, the Pikmin try to fight for themselves, which I'm sure does not go horribly whatsoever for them. So I wish I could fight a ball board with like 10 Pikmin in the actual game and win. It's like it does not work that way. This cutscene always like fascinated me as a child. It got my head thinking about so many theories. Because there are onions that don't actually exist in the series. Asterisk. At that point in the series they didn't exist. Like, oh look, a purple onion. Oh look, a gray onion. A light blue onion, a pink onion, a light green onion. What are all these Pikmin types? Like my childhood imagination ran wild. The funny part is we have like all of them now. The only one that's missing I think is orange. So if we get an orange Pikmin type someday, we will have all of the original Pikmin colors from this ending. Albeit the light green ones don't have an onion, and the purple Pikmin don't have an onion until like 4. Because they're like underground, it's complicated. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how much, I don't know if they were intending it or not, but they end up kind of foreshadowing a few things that continue to still be kind of addressed throughout the series. It's really cool. 13 days, 715 Pikmin surviving, and 0 Pikmin lost. Again, not as good as my #1 score on Switch. But hey, nothing to sneeze at either. Again, I know I could have done a 12-day, but again, it was just taking too long. So yeah, the Nova Blaster, Space Float, Massage Machine, UV Lamp, and Secret Safe are the 5 optional parts. You will get the good ending otherwise, in which you can take off, but, you know, there's a little bit less fanfare. God, the Earth looks so crisp in this. I'm used to, like, the GameCube version where it's, like, really crusty. But they did go back and actually redo a bunch of stuff, which is nice. In general, for closing thoughts on this Fox Girls favorites, I really like this game. I know it definitely kicked my ass tonight, which was not necessarily the best experience, but again, that's just how it goes sometimes. I still really like this game. Again, this was the game that got me to like branch out into other like series and stop being so like insulated of I'm just gonna play Mario games. So this was definitely the first one, and I definitely did continue to have moments like that, but in general, this was like kind of a major leap into like uncharted territory with like a franchise that doesn't feel as familiar, even though it's still Nintendo. This was kind of my branching off point. A lot of times when I discovered franchises, it was through like story demos. Sunshine was actually a game I discovered through a story demo, as was Paper Mario 1. I don't know how to handle Paper Mario 1, because technically, that would count for the series, but it would actually be out of order from Thousand Year Door and Super, because I actually played it in like 2009. I still think this game holds up pretty well. Switch version is pretty decent, I'd say. Again, the higher res like user interface and everything is really nice. Quality of life, a lot of the bug fixes are really nice. In general, it's like definitely the best version. Again, if this ever gets added to NSO, I'd be really interested, just because, again, the GameCube version is so glitchy, or buggy if you want to go for the pun. So yeah, it is a very different experience. I would recommend this version, even if that comes out on NSO, but I don't know if it would, because this is, again, based on like the Wii version, more so. So it does have a different game feel, a little bit, than the original. And then you go back home and nothing bad happens to Olimar. Totally nothing bad ever happens to Olimar. So this is weird. In the original GameCube and also the Wii version, this used beta footage. Like literally you could see enemy placements that are not in the final game. And like certain designs look a little bit off too, but like this is basically the same cutscene, just higher. Like they re-recorded similar scenes with the actual like final build of the game, which is something I'm kind of mixed on, because on one hand this looks a lot better, and I'm sure they couldn't upscale the GameCube beta footage very well, so re-recording it was the best option instead of just having it like really like 480p on the screen. But I do kind of miss having the beta footage because it's like very charming to see like unused footage for a game like that. Like the Candy Pop Bud one I think is in a totally different spot, like where you can't even find them in the main game. Maybe in challenge mode though. I don't know if we even saw dwarf ball bears because they spawn in later on, so that's also weird how like certain enemies like you might not even run into. Yeah, the other ball, like dwarf bulborb and variations thereof are actually bread bugs in disguise. I want to say Pikmin 4 delves into that, maybe 3. Yeah, I always like the one for Emperor Bulblax because he's like really off-center in the original, and this is, you know, a little bit more intimidating actually. Yeah, just like the ground textures are very high-res in a way that's kind of thrown me off, not gonna lie. But again, I still have very fond memories of playing this game over and over and over again. Again, my first playthrough of this game, I definitely got the bad ending. I did bad on my first time. I think I had a Pikmin extinction at one point. And I definitely got the bad ending on my first playthrough, which is interesting because Olimar like gets turned into a Pikmin. Which is actually kind of a concept we visited for Pikmin 4 with the leaflings. In general though, I'll always have a soft spot for this game and Mario Sunshine, even though they're very, like, wonky games at times. They have a lot of weird quirks to them that make them a little bit hard to go back to. Like, if I were to recommend a Pikmin game to start with, it would be 3 or 4. Probably 4, because it's kind of like a soft reboot. So you don't have to know all the lore, though knowing the lore might help with, like, callbacks. Again, it's very much a Mario Galaxy 2 situation, without going into details. Yeah, I would recommend the Pikmin games. I enjoy these a lot. They're like decent, you know, real-time strategy games. This again was my introduction to strategy games, and I didn't even know that was a genre at this time. And continue to not really play RTS games, and I still kind of don't, to be honest. I guess Civ is like the main one I still play. Even that I don't really play anymore. So yeah. That's a low camera angle, that's really interesting, because you actually can't pan the camera that low in this version. In 2 you can, but yeah, the camera's more fixed in Pikmin 1 specifically. It's really fixed in Pikmin 3. It's like kind of odd not being able to get an overhead view on Pikmin 3. So yeah, I hope this was enjoyable to watch, especially because again, doing this deathless and committing to doing a deathless playthrough definitely makes certain things take longer and be a little less convenient. And so like, the stream could have been a lot shorter if I had not committed to doing a deathless run. All those resets we wouldn't have done. So yeah. Overall, I do think, you know, other than struggling a lot on the final boss, which I mean, it's the final boss. If we're gonna struggle, that's not a bad place to struggle on. Overall, this playthrough is pretty smooth. I'm happy with how it went for the most part. Again, minor hiccups here and there, but not too bad. And yeah, I don't know what number of game this is. It's like 7 or 8 for my series. I have like 50 games at this point that I'm kind of like going back and forth on, like, including in this series. In general, I kind of don't feel overly strongly about, like, some of the games, but they're like important games. So trying to find a balance of that is what I'm kind of struggling with a little bit. Pikmin is a game that was very formative for me and also very much a favorite of mine, so this is an easy inclusion. Some of, like, Pikmin 3 is a little bit harder because it had less of an emotional impact on me, even though I think it's the best Pikmin game, and it's one of my favorite games. Yeah, we got the happy end because we got all of the ship parts. But but that basically concludes my thoughts on the original Pikmin. I hope everyone enjoyed this little, like, trip down memory lane for me. Thank you for the hydration check.